Matt, this is your Health Club membership program for Chapter 5, Exercise B. You asked me to try to help you display an error message if the user leaves the new member's name text box empty or if they enter a negative number for the number of months. What you currently have is some nested if logic, and that nested if logic is an okay route. In fact, it's probably the best route to go for the negative number error message. But what I would suggest is the empty member name text box not be nested inside this one. There are two different text boxes, so deal with them separately. What you currently have is an if statement that checks to see if the text in the number of text box is numeric. If it is, then you check again on the number of months from the number of months text box. If it's greater than 0, you do the processing. That's all good. Try to stay vertically in line with where I'm going next. This else message processes if the number of months is not greater than 0. So it could be 0 or a negative number. It displays this message, and this message prompts the user to enter a new name. This is not the message box you want in this location. This should be the message box if it's negative number. Now, you might want to have a different error for 0 than you do for negative number, and that would be fine. If you're going to use the nested if block to deal with that number of months text box, I would do if greater than, as you have here, if it's numeric, then process. But check, is it greater than 0? Else if, this is where I would have the else if. Else if dec number of months equals 0, display a message and tell them they've entered 0. Please enter 1 or more months. And then the final else would be do not enter a negative number. Now, that's two different error messages. You could have one error message say you must enter an integer greater than 0. It could be one message box, it could be two. That's kind of what you're trying to do here, and I realize that. So what I'm going to suggest is that I'll rewrite this code for you, and then I'll explain to you what I did. Okay? Okay, Matt, I have rewritten some of the code, and the first thing I'd like you to notice that I did was to address the empty member name text box. I added a simple if, then, end if text block. If the text new member's name text is empty, and you can do that, check it by string.empty or just quote quote like you did here. Either way is fine. I just wanted to show you that you can use the string.empty, the string object.empty method. Text new member's name.text equals string.empty, then message box specifically for the new member text box. And then it ends. It's either empty or it's not, send the message. So we didn't need a nested if statement. We didn't need an if else statement. If it's not empty, this does not process, and then we go and check the number of months text box. And what I did was I just made some changes to what you had already written. Your nested if logic here was the right idea. Again, you're going to check to see if it's numeric. If it is, we're going to do some more things. I'm going to go down to the if it's not numeric, you have this else logic right here, and this is what you had. This is good. Okay, so that's good. Let's go back up. Okay, so if it is numeric, then we're going to check to see if it's greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, that's good. Do the processing. Again, that was good. You did that correctly. But this if it's not greater than 0, then we check if it is equal to 0. If it is, display a message specifically to address a value of 0. The third block is the else, which means it's not greater than 0, it's not equal to 0, therefore it must be less than 0 or a negative number, and I use the message box logic that you had originally typed in. Let's give it a quick test. I'm going to test first by leaving the new member name blank, and I'm going to type in a positive number, calculate. I get a message to enter the new member name. Focus goes there. I type in the new member name. This time I'm going to use a 0, and I get a message to enter one or more months. This time I'm going to try the negative number, and I'm going to get an error message. And again, this was that error message that you wrote that was very clever. You actually show in your error message the value that the user entered. That's great. Okay. Again, you could have one error message to address the 0 or the negative number. I'd like to show you one more thing that I didn't fix that I would like you to consider fixing. I'm going to exit out and start again. I'm going to use the keyboard Tab key to navigate through your form. I'm going to type in my name. I'm going to press the Tab key. The focus skips over the number of month and goes to the membership types option buttons. Logically, you should have it go to the number of months, then to the membership types, then to the calculate cost button, then to the clear button. If you don't remember how to set the tab index order, check the video on our content page, or maybe get some help from me in class next week. I hope this helps you. Thank you.